author Brian K. Morris comes an epic tale of armor forged by a god, a hero forged by courage, and an ancient menace poised to re-emerge and threaten our world. Volcana, Rebirth of the Champion, is available on Amazon.com. Get your copy today.
Seconds.
Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Get ready to explore the world of comics, past, present, and future, with our panelists Eric Hawkins, Brian Rodman, and Clyde Hall. And now here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
And good evening, everyone. How the heck are you? Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, issue number 11, I believe it is. Wow, we have got a whole bunch of issues here. Boy, do we have issues. Anyway, we're glad you're with us for another week of comic book excellence and reviews and all kinds of good stuff. But anyway, thank you for showing up, whether you're watching us on the rerun or watching us live. We appreciate you all. Appreciations also to the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and that's not them. I've hit the wrong button once again. Anyway, this is them. Please go to our Facebook page and check out our schedule. Please take a screenshot of this if you would. We've got all your entertainment and your information covered for the every day of the week. We're 365 most of the time, 7 days a week, and it's a great thing here. We've got all kinds of great variety in the programming, of which this is just a part of it. We're grateful to the people who are joining us on this network on this great journey. And some programming notes tonight. Amy Hale will not be doing Creative as Hale because she did it earlier this week. You'll want to check that out. But we will have Stupid O'Clock tonight at 9 p.m. with Joe Dog McKeel and the usual cast. So please check them out. It's a great after-hours convention conversation that you love, and you'll have a good time listening to it. But we do want to also thank our Patreon subscribers. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators directly. And we are grateful to our Patreon subscribers. Just $1 will get you something, $5 will get you a little more, and $10, oh boy, howdy, you get the keys to the kingdom. So please check us out at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. Also, we want to thank Plasma Fire Graphics for sponsoring this episode. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it matters to your readers. If you want to get them to pick up your book and take it to the cash register, get a good cover in front of it, and get that in front of your readers. Jeffrey Hayes is the man. Check him out on Facebook. Check him out at plasmafiregraphics.com, when the look of your book matters to you. And also check out Amazon for my brand new book, Snow Ambition, number 4 in the Snow Short series. It's an Abraham Snow adventure. Please check us out on Amazon. And next Wednesday, we will be having a special episode of Clever Title Pending with Bobby Nash, the creator of Abraham Snow. And we're going to have a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us for that. So anyway, speaking of fun, let's unmute these rascally people here and then bring them into the picture here. Mr. Clyde Hall, Eric Hawkins, and Brian Rodman. How the heck are you, gentlemen?
Good. Peachy. Happy to be here.
That's I'm happy you're here too. And as usual, we've got people commenting on the show. Ted Davies Artistry first in the door. Hello, good evening, Fab Four, and all you ships at sea. Good to see you, Ted. Ted, don't forget to put in a plug, if you would, for your great book, Grimm 101. that is currently funding on Kickstarter. Carl Witzman, ahoy, Ted. And everyone's saying hello to each other. Hi, Carly, mwah, how you doing? And looking forward to learning more tonight. Well, Carl, we hope we can educate you and give you some stuff to think about. We've got 4 different titles that we will be reviewing tonight. And one of them is by one of the members of this crew. And we'll find out who looks your clue is probably who looks the most nervous. As to what I'm
Not me.
I ain't worried.
I'm wearing Depends because I'm so nervous. I might pee myself.
Those are very stylish looking now. They got the patterns and everything on them.
I know. I have the Spider-Man ones.
For that extra cling that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those tight occasions.
They're like pull-ups for big boys.
And Brian Hawkins picked the wrong time to be here. Good to see you. And the Historical Fencing Guild taking a break from promoting Luke's Hybrids number 7 and the Quick Play RPG and Cindy Cap's Animal Eye. Pardon me. Yeah, we ought to touch on that real fast. Our dear friend Cindy Cap has just launched her first comic book ever on Kickstarter called Animal Eye. Please drop what you're doing. We will understand. Run over to Kickstarter and pledge for that book. If you haven't pledged for Grimm 101 yet, or Eric Hawkins' own Zombieful World of Oz number 3, which, Eric, give us an update. How is that doing for you?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked at it in about 10 minutes.
Your restraint is admirable.
We have $4,201, 116 backers, and we have unlocked 4 stretch goals.
Yes.
Excellent.
$800 in the next stretch goal.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah. And all I have to say is I've backed all of these Kickstarters mentioned, so you have no excuse.
Yeah, so have I, and I'm going to catch hell from Cookie over it too. So if I'm going to die
until the end of the month.
Well, that's true.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah,
Brian, we still have time to get our affairs in order before all these hit the fan.
No, she just the mere thought of it. She's going to snuff me like a candle. So anyway,
I think in a couple months we'll be just reviewing a bunch of crowdfunding stuff.
Yes, we are. Yes, and there's some really good stuff. Seriously, all kidding aside, Eric's looks beautiful. If you've read the first 2 issues of that, you are going to love what you see in the 3rd. I know.
And if you're a backer,
yes,
in my most recent update, I posted a page.
That's true. You did. Yeah. And it's lovely. It's lovely. And also, I helped edit Cindy Cap's script.
Oh boy.
For Animal Eye. Well, no, I made her. I am full disclosure. I'm also the editor on Eric Hawkins' book, but I didn't.
And let me find the comma I found missing the other day going through issue 2.
Oh no! Yeah, and what is the last issue where what was it? I made a suggestion and you didn't correct it. I think.
Nope, it wasn't in the suggestions. I went and looked.
Oh, is it?
Oh no! And in this corner,
but you still made the mistake in the first place. So there. Anyway,
shots fired, ladies and gentlemen. Film at 11.
That's right. But he's
got a gun back here somewhere.
Yeah, Eric's just miffed because I made him draw a zombie in issue 1. It's the Federal Trade Commission. It's out of my hands. There
it might come out in the trade paperback next year.
Racist. Screw you, Brian. But no, because I edited Cindy's script because she will listen to advice. And anyway, but no, it's a fantastic script. It was all about gamers inside a VR environment where they become animals as part of the adventure. It's an all ages comic, so you can leave this on the coffee table and not have to worry about those embarrassing questions when Junior gets a hold of it. But anyway, no, it's a great book. And also we also support Luke Stone's Hybrids, the Sons of Gods number 7. In addition to that, there is also a quick play RPG involved with that, done by our very own Nicholas Anthony Tockert. And I helped playtest that game. I'm everywhere. And seriously, it's a great, great game system. Nick's come up with something that I could just take that I could just take the rules right now and get these guys some dice, and a minute later, we're into the adventure. That's how easy it is. And it is
Brian's
really
like herpes. Once you have them, you can't get rid of them.
And he always keeps showing up.
exactly, especially when you least want it. But anyway, after that ringing endorsement, yes, definitely check out our fellow Nevermorians and their various crowdfunding campaigns right now. You will be glad you did. You will thank us in a couple months. All right. And Historical Fencing Guild says, glad to see Brian Rodman has an upgrade, the Hail Pail.
It's more comfortable, really.
Yes,
That's
it
why.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably more comfortable than where I was last week. Sorry, the sound isn't as good. But anyway.
I will have you know, Brian, that
Yes.
my friends watched the show for the first time last week.
And the last time, probably.
Your ex-friends?
They thought it was hilarious that you were in the bathroom and that you flushed. They're probably lurking in the background somewhere here now because of your wonderful flushing performance.
I don't think it was me flushing. I think it was my zombieful co-conspirator there.
Yeah.
But it was still funny.
Before we get too far from the promotion,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Promote. Another place that Brian Morris is showing up is in Pulp Reality number 2.
That's true.
Along with me, my second B-Man story.
Is Brian on the cover there?
On weekends, yes.
I think he's down here peeking up. I see the top of a fez right there. No. Apologies to Clayton Merwin, whose artwork this is. Very, very lovely cover. But this went on sale Monday. It is available now. Pulp Reality number 2. And Brian and I both have stories in there. So please go to Amazon or stormgatepress.com and check it out.
For sure. It's like I told Ted Davies earlier, bring the power strip. We've got plugs. Anyway, Teresa Dunn, hello to you, darling. Wow, glad to see you. Hello, Aaron Roblowski. I know I mispronounced that. Aaron, I'm sorry. Glad you're here, though. So glad to see you. And congrats, Eric from Ted Davies Artistry.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And the Historical Fencing Guild BKM, that is just casting your bread on the water. Good karma to hashtag bring cookie home. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ryan Permison, good to see you, sir. He's my one of my stunt doubles on Nevermind the Furthermore. Hello, everyone. How are you? Happy Star Wars month. Favorite Star Wars memory. And thank you for sharing, Ryan. He asked me, I believe he asked me this earlier. And today not today, but yesterday was the 4th of, 2 days ago was the 4th of May, which of course, May the 4th be with you. So do you three gentlemen have any great Star Wars memories?
I've never seen it.
It's Star Wars.
It's Eric, you'd love it. It's about this starship that's on a 5-year mission to explore new worlds.
The TARDIS?
In the TARDIS, yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, and then whenever they take on new cadets, they sort them into different houses. And it's really interesting. The headmaster of the ship.
You guys can see Darth Maul and Vader right there, can't you?
You lie. It's just you smell like beef.
Okay, my Star Wars story. Star Wars.
It's like, shut up, guys.
Star Wars. The first Star Wars movie. The one that was just called Star Wars.
Right.
There was no
Yeah.
different chapters or anything. And this fits in for this week because it's a Mother's Day story. Because my mom, I wasn't old enough to drive. My mom was like, "There's a Star Wars movie that's playing. Did you want to go see it? Yeah, let's go see it." So we went to this. There was a mall theater at the time. Mall's still here. Theater's long gone. But we went for the early show, and I was so impressed that, she started to get up to leave, and I'm like, "Can we watch it again?" That never happens. That was and my mom also was like, "I got to go to work tomorrow." I know, but can we watch it again? It's really okay. The only time I can ever remember us staying for 2 shows consecutively like that.
Cool.
And so happy Mother's Day early to all of our mothers out there. To my wife, Virginia Hall. She is the ma to my pa of the Kent family. She is my Aunt Harriet to my Alfred. And she has been my red tornado to my wildcat. And she's also a very good mom. So happy Mother's Day early to all mothers and foster mothers and those filling in a role of somebody needing a mother. Thank you. Thank you all.
Indeed.
Thank you, Ted. Or Clyde. I was looking at Ted's. I was looking at Ted's next comment. My bad. I'm trying to think ahead here. And thank you, Ryan, for sharing this show. And the Historical Fencing Guild comic review cage match. It's coming soon. And Ryan Permisson says, Brian Rodman, congratulations on the new haircut, styling and profiling. Woo!
Thank you very much. I've never had that much hair before in my life. I always kept it really short. And now I have a hairstyle that I've never had before. If you want to know what it looks like, I shared a picture for your trolling enjoyment.
That's true.
On my Facebook page. So there you go.
And if you really want to see it, go to his OnlyFans page. Just saying.
There you see what I'm doing with my new haircut. There you go.
And Aaron says the 5 minutes excitement before watching Last Jedi.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Well, I actually, you mentioned that, and I was thinking of I'd seen just before that. I'd seen the movie Wizards, directed by Ralph Bakshi,
yes.
And they had a trailer for Star Wars. And my friends and I went to see this thing, are all sitting there going, wait a minute, that's a science fiction film. It looked like somebody spent money on it. What the hell? So we weren't used to that. And Cindy kept, put in a link to your great launch tonight for Animal Eye #1, your very first comic. So proud of you. When I left Pops Van Sant, the Comics Madness with Pops Van Sant, she had just broken $100. Please help her get to her $3,400 goal because she's awesome. And so is Ted Davies, who says, please check out my new campaign on Kickstarter. Please check it out for Grim 101. You'll love it. And go, Ted, go. Go, Cindy, go. I want to see all the Nevermorians get funded here. And it used to be right on. Thank you to Ninja Ganko. Glad you're here. And now seeing the special edition trilogy with my family in '97 at a great local theater. Now that is very cool too. Very cool. And I remember the Phantom Menace going to the midnight show and telling my employer, I'm going to be effed up tomorrow, really effed up. We were shock callers to a local show, radio show in the morning. I know that's unbelievable, but we were kind of like Howard Stern, but we called in to do it. Nice. And out of gratitude for what we did, they gave us the DJs gave us an advance copy of the soundtrack. And said, and told us, don't tell anyone you've got this, or we could all get into a lot of trouble. And had us and paid our way to get into the theater because they figured we'd talk to people and keep them entertained in the lines. So,
and was that still on vinyl?
No. This would have been CD. This was CD. So, I think vinyl was coughing its then next to last gasp on that one.
For my favorite Star Wars memories, you need to tune into Ted Davies' channel to see us talk about Star Wars from Tuesday. So
nice, very nice.
That's where it's at. Can't tell you here. It's already been talked about.
And I gotta say, and after you watch that one, watch the Ted Davies interview with me, because we don't talk about Star Wars, but we talk a lot about Hellboy, created by Mike Mignola, which is what I'm about to talk about a little bit. So yeah, we gush over Mike Mignola, as everyone should. Yeah.
And seeing Force Awakens opening weekend was incredible and electrifying. And there is that link for Cindy Kep. Please check that out. And $138 and 11 backers so far. Good start. And it's only about an hour old.
Yeah.
Good work, Cindy. Good. Keep up the pressure.
Don't get discouraged with that either, because like that's actually a really good pace. In the first 24 hours, if you get 30% funded, then your stats for getting successfully funded overall go up a lot. So you're in a good spot, Cindy.
You really are, and you're going to get promoted to the best of my ability. I promise you. Ted Davies Artistry from YouTube says, Eric and Rodman, you guys rock. And Aaron says, watch Force Awakens with my daughter, who whispered thank you for not spoiling Han's death as I'd watched it with friends earlier. Oh crap! I forgot.
Spoiler alert! Dang it!
Since she's been asking questions all day. Well, that's like you talk again. One of my favorite memories was when the first trilogy, movies 1 through 3, the Phantom Menace. We had somebody in our gaming group who was about 19 or so, and every time the subject of the third, soon to be released then, Star Wars film came up, he's like, "No, you guys got to shut up! I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to spoil it." And it was getting on our nerves. Every other week when we met, it's like he'd be, "You can't talk about it. I refuse to let you talk about it. I'm not going to have my movie spoiled for me." So I just looked up at him and said, "Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader," and he's like, "Oh." And I'm like, "Yeah, we knew it before your dad squirted you out, so shut up."
I think really quick, my favorite Star Wars memory was actually watching the season or the series finale of Rebels, the series, the sequel series to the Clone Wars. Good grief! I think I haven't teared up at a Star Wars movie or show as much as I did in that episode. I don't really want to spoil anything for those who haven't seen it, but it's pretty epic, and it's really the very end of it, the tail end, kind of leads you to believe that it's not finished yet. So I'm pretty excited where they're going to go with that.
Did you watch Bad Batch yet?
Not yet. I haven't watched it yet. I'm excited to see it though. Oh, is that a hint?
Yes,
I liked it.
All right, I'm excited.
And Matthew, I'm so sorry, Matthew Beatty. I apologize. You and Eric. Yeah, you and Eric can commiserate together. And now you tell us spoilers. Thanks, Aaron.
Matt Beatty is my coworker and friend. So
hello, coworker and friend.
Just ignore everything he says. He deserves it.
Okay, just ignore everything he says. No problem. So, and Cindy Cap says, "Y'all have been great support. Darling, you deserve it. Thank you so much for launching this book. I'm so excited for you." Brian Hawkins taking off work to go see Phantom Menace with my brother, friend, and a coworker. I imagine that was very cool. And
we got interviewed as we left the theater by the local newspaper too.
Oh, that's awesome. That really
now
is.
I regret all the great things I said about it.
Yeah, but you don't realize that Eric was pretty pissed off at the premiere, and he was having trouble tearing the projector out of the floor so he could hurl it over the edge. This started something right there. And BKM and Clyde, you guys are cool too. Well, thank you. Our fragile egos are soothed now. And the Historical Fencing Guild, good to see you Friday nights at 8 p.m. Please check it out. Rebels is a series that most people have neglected. Mm-hmm. And Brian, seriously, comment to me when you watch Bad Batch. Yes, sir, I will. I will not frivolously do it. And Matthew,
I think it's the other Brian.
Oh, the other Brian. Okay, one of us is going to change
the one that will watch.
Hi, I'm BK. Everybody's going to say, "I want to talk to the Burger King." Anyway, Matthew Beatty says, "We all know people who fall down holes in Star Wars don't die." Tell that to Boba Fett. Anyway, so
he came back.
He came back.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Gotta say,
I've heard of that.
Gets his own series next year or later this year.
Yeah,
like that.
Dang.
It's
for a second
this fall.
For a second memory of Star Wars that really meant something, that really impacted me, and it kind of came out of the blue. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
The season ender of The Mandalorian, the second season ender, I really liked it. But then I watched the reaction videos.
Yeah.
And that teared me up.
Yeah.
To see the impact that it had on mostly younger generations, a few my age also. But
start to tear up now, Clyde. Stop it.
Here you go, Eric. I have a tissue for you.
Here you go. Yeah. This is what I use.
Nothing but sanitation here. There we go. Yes.
That's right. Let me tell you about the years I worked in the restaurants. And the Historical Fencing Guild says I can comment on too. I don't want to comment on it. It's all sucky. There. Anyway, and he says Boba's back. He's back again. Boba's back. Phone again. I thought you'd say like Boba's back and there's gonna be trouble. Hey law, hey law. I'm the only one who remembers that song. Anyway, spoilers. Was disappointed when Ben Solo died. Was finally becoming interesting. Redemption, its arc. All the great reunions with Poe, Finn. What a waste. Well, yeah, that's valid. That's valid. And speaking of valid, we're going to start our reviews. And Ted, well, after Ted Davies says, Clyde, I agree. Those fan reaction vids are awesome. It's an X-Wing crying.
God, stop
it. Anyway, yeah, bring the paper towels. Yeah, Terry MacGyver. I can picture it now. Remember that time I tortured you? Ha! Good times. You made him sit through the Phantom Menace, is what it was. But anyway, wah 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 wah. Anyway, let's start the reviews. Now, Brian, I saw you were queued up and ready to go first.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, I would love for you to also. Please do, sir.
I am super excited about this. As many of you know, Mike Mignola is if you haven't heard of him, I don't know, climb out from under your rock. He's the creator of the Hellboy universe, but a lot of people actually don't know that he co-created a different universe that began with the prose novel Baltimore, and has expanded with a miniseries called Joe Gollum, Occult Detective, and then the official universe called the Outerverse was announced, and that is coming. There's a lot of World War II era witches and things like that involved with it. There's mini series coming out called Lady Baltimore, the Witch Queens, and this one, Kojakaru the Skinner, and it is, gosh, if you like Hellboy, if you like anything Mike Mignola, you are absolutely going to love this. So the premise is Kojakaru the Skinner, the strange and enigmatic bane of Eastern European witches, has been dead many, many years. But from a bloodied French town in the throes of World War II, a plea for help carries across the winds of time. A desperate band of resistance soldiers and their white witch allies rest their fate in the hands of Kojakaru's ghost. And when she answers their call, it will be heard near and far. I got to say, it's issue 1 in a 2-part miniseries. The story is done by Mike Mignola and Christopher Golden. The art is done by Peter Bergting. Colors by Michelle Madsen. Letters by Clem Robbins. Cover and variant by Peter Bergting again. And it is just classic, spooky Mike Mignola fun. The artwork is fantastic. The story pacing is great. We'll just flip through here, give you guys just a little taste of the creepiness that you come across. You see that panel right here. Just there's something about Mike Mignola's like page layouts that really just, he said it before in interviews as well. It's more so he's not interested in like the jump scares or the gore. He's interested in, you're in a dark cemetery at midnight, and you look up and you see the full moon, and you look off in the distance in this one patch that's lit up, and you see this figure that's shadowed, and all you see is their white, stark eyes staring back at you. That, even just describing it, for me, gives me chills. I love that kind of spooky ghost story, type of storytelling. This, and pretty much everything Mike Mignola does, just captures that really well. Now, this book, it starts off in the middle of the action. This resistance during World War II is fighting a coven of witches that has aligned themselves with the Nazis, and as one does when you're a witch. And and their goal, they're trying to get they're hiding from the coven, who's pretty much just massacred this town, and they're trying to get to this cathedral, which is down the street and they're trying to make it there alive. And the leader of the resistance has gotten a list of all of the Nazi commanders, all their names and everything, and he needs to bring it back to Britain. And that's the whole point of why the witches are coming after them, because obviously if he were to succeed, the Nazis would be in a rough spot. And so the whole story is this resistance trying to make their way down the street. And during the journey, they run into this coven of good witches, of Glendas, of white witches, and they essentially bring them to safety and start conjuring a ghost of an old ancient witch hunter from the Middle Ages called Kojakaru the Skinner. And the adventure pretty much just amps up from there, because they essentially realize that, like, we got to get to this cathedral, or if we stay here, they're gonna just break down the walls and kill us. So they start running down, and prime characters are starting to die, and it's a standard issue, so there's 25 pages. The story pacing is great. When the characters that do die, when they do, you care, because it just in a few pages you already feel for these guys, and you're already you feel like you've been with them for so long already, even though you literally just met them. This is issue 1, so no surprise there. Mike Mignola is just really good he's an excellent writer, excellent storyteller anyway, and teamed up with Christopher Golden. They make a great team as far as writing goes. Overall, I would recommend this not just to Mike Mignola fans. If you like anything adventurous, anything World War II, anything spooky, this is it. And this is a perfect time to jump in, because we are in the middle of really expanding what this universe is called, the Outerverse. And it started with, I haven't read Baltimore, the prose novel. I'm going to very soon, because just picking this up and reading this one issue, I'm already sucked in, and I'm so excited that there's a whole nother world that Mike Mignola is helping to create. So overall, I give this book a 10 out of 10. The artwork is fantastic. The colors are wonderful. The pacing, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I turned the page to just something super spooky and terrifying, and that just warmed my black heart. So I can't say enough good things about this. Go get it right now. After the show, I don't care if your comic book store is closed. Go break down the doors, leave some money, and snatch this book. And I think they'll be fine with it. They'll be like, oh wow, this is a passionate customer. Add this to your pull list. You're gonna want to get issue 2. Issue 2 comes out this month. Issue 1 came out in April. And then get amped up for more miniseries from the Outerverse coming your way this fall. And get caught up on Amazon. Baltimore, Lady Baltimore, and the what is it? The Joe Gollum Occult Detective. They've already been released, and you can go catch up. There's a lot of your comic book stores should have all of that, or they can order it for you. So that's for me. That's it for me this week.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. That sounds cool. This is becoming like the Mike Mignola fan club here, I'm thinking, which is not a horrible thing.
I mean, I don't know why anyone would think that. I have no clue.
It's the subliminal messages. Yes, Clyde.
Every time you guys bring up Mignola, I think of this book, and I've never got to talk about it. So I'm going to just ask: have you guys read Mr. Higgins Comes Home from Dark Horse?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It's a tribute to the Fearless Vampire killers.
Yeah.
And it's one of the, besides Hellboy, it's one of the first things I read of Mignola when I got back into comic books. And it's funny. It's horrific. It does have a very nice nod to the Fearless Vampire Killers mythology.
Yeah.
But I never hear anybody talk about it very much. And it's kind of like one of his lesser, I think, known things. But if you're a Mignola fan, you should check it out.
And it has a sequel book as well.
Oh, does it?
I think it might actually be the part of a trilogy now. But yeah, it's
Okay.
it's same artist and the same team and everything. But yeah, I love the first one. It is surprisingly funny
Yes.
as well
Yes.
because it is very much a horror book, but it's like I don't know, highbrow, goofy horror. So yeah,
Yes, it is. Yes, that's exactly right. It is highbrow, goofy.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's an underserved demographic, and the historical, in line with what we were talking about earlier, the historical fencing guild says the great law of Star Wars is that the further you get from the Jedi, the more interesting the universe gets. And yo, Pops Van Zandt, thank you for hosting our girl Cindy tonight. Glad you got her campaign off to a rollicking start. And now for something completely different, says the Historical Fencing Guild. And Ted Davies is our cheerleader saying, preach, Rodman, preach. And Matthew Beatty, a la Shaun of the Dead. There we go. All right. And so thank you very much, Brian. That was really interesting. That sounds good. So, and let's see, can you share that title again? Mr. Higgins Comes Home?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's a 2017 Dark Horse. The first one was 2017 Dark
sequel
Horse.
to Magnum PI?
Yeah. Tom Selleck is the vampire now, though, so it's weird.
Yeah, that's the goofy part. There's where the goofy comes in. So, yeah.
And Higgins was trying to stake him for taking out Orson Welles' car again. That was it.
Spoilers, Brian.
I know. Damn it. Oh man, I am a horrible human being. That's all there is to it. By the way, Rosebud's the sled. Anyway, so damn it, Brian. Anyway. So Eric, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. So I picked up a couple books, and the other one is Heroes Reborn by Marvel, and I have not read that yet. I didn't know if I want to do a Marvel book on here. I didn't want to shill for one of the big guys. So I went with one of the mediocre guys, Image. The Good Asian.
How many Image books have you now reviewed?
It's almost all of them have been Image books. So it's at least... I know 2 of them weren't, so
I don't think that's a mediocre publisher anymore.
No, they're the big one in my staple right now, next to Stone Door Studios.
Of course,
they're my favorite.
But before I jump into the review, though, I must say Brian and I did not talk about the hats we were going to wear tonight. I don't know what happened.
Oh wow, yeah,
right, yeah. Cindy Cap says cool hats.
But I will read the description right on Image's page here for you, and I'm not even going to attempt the names because I cannot pronounce these names, not at all. So writer blank blank, long-awaited follow-up to the critically acclaimed Infidel and stunning art by something Outpost Zero. Following Edison Hark, a haunted, self-loathing Chinese-American detective on the trail of a killer in 1936 Chinatown. The Good Asian is Chinatown noir, starring a first generation of Americans to come of age under an immigration ban. The Chinese, as they're besieged by rampant murderers, abusive police, and the world of seemingly never changes. Then you got some quotes here. Edison Hark immediately joins the ranks of Philip Marlowe and Sam Spade in a smart, classic noir drenched in style and history by James Tynion IV from Department of Truth and Batman. Gripping an authentic crime story from an Asian American point of view. This is the book I've been waiting for. Cliff Chang from Paper Girls. And a brittle story that takes place during an unfamiliar time in our history that is tragically all too familiar now in our present. Brian Azzarello from 100 Bullets and Moonshine. I do not agree with any of these. I just don't. I am sorry. This book's steaming piece of crap.
Oh. Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, okay, I get it. If you okay, so basically, if you're white in here, you're a racist. Every white person's a racist, especially the Irish cop. And if you're Asian, you're a opium addict. So I don't know where they're going with this. Now, this guy might be a good author, and the story would lend better to a novel, not a comic book. and it just doesn't. It seems interesting, but it's boring. There's no action really. I mean, you got some weird crap going on here, which is why I have Post-its. So I picked up the cover because it looked cool and looked like it'd be interesting. I thumbed through it. I was like, oh, that's art's not horrible. And the art isn't horrible. It's not bad at all. It's what you would almost expect from a noir comic book. So
yeah, the art looks good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my first Post-it is I thought was kind of unique though. So anytime anyone's talking in Chinese, their speech bubbles are square.
That's cool.
Nice touch.
Now I had to go back and say, why is it like that? What did they change it somewhere? Because it goes through the whole book like that. What's going on? I was like, oh, I missed that little note right there. That little asterisk. Look at the bottom of the page.
Eric's like, wait a minute, I can read in Chinese now?
Oh my god. Now, okay, so this poster I got to come back to because maybe this is why the book just. Anyway, this is bad. This is bad. I mean, I like sound effects, but don't put a face right in the middle of the A.
Oh no!
Oh,
he looks like a pumpkin.
That's what I thought. I was like, what's going on here? Who hit him in the head? I was like, oh, those are letters. And I really thought this was going to be a positive book. I thought, hey, I'm going to really like this. Nope. You're the right Marvel book. Okay, so the detective, he of course, no superpowers or anything like this in this book. I think it would be better for really a novel. It would be an interesting novel. You can sit down and just read at your own pace and stuff, and it doesn't need pictures because he describes everything that's going on. But this just annoyed me because it threw the whole book. So that way. So he has a keen eye for everything. He sees things that other people just don't see. So they have to point it out on every panel with a big red square.
Oh,
oh, he's got cufflinks. Oh, he's got a mustard stain. And it's throughout the whole book. I'm like, okay, you don't need to point that out, what he's saying. Oh, let's keep going.
I'm waiting for this book to go airborne.
Oh, I'm not going to throw it. Heck no, I'm not going to throw it. It's apparently sold out like every other Image book I bought, but I see plenty of them on the newsstand. Which I saw today. I look up the description of it. I'm like, that's not sold out. They had tons of them. Now here's a piece of art I just didn't like because it took me a few minutes to figure out what's going on here. And has anyone got a weak stomach?
Oh, bring it on.
Do it.
Yeah.
So
what's happening there?
That's apparently a guy's face. His tongue is swollen, and those are maggots all over his face.
That's a bad day.
Yeah, so over here. No, yeah, here. Here you get a little better. Okay, he's laying down. That's his face. Okay, I get it now.
Is this where I announce my new cooking show?
Now, the storytelling is fine. I mean, other than the art I like, except for that thing, it just didn't look too well. I see fingerprints. Okay.
Maybe if you'd put some Post-it notes on it when you read.
This was the other thing. Do some perspective, dude. Don't put a little kid in front of you like that.
Oh no!
And over here as well. Come on.
Paging Dr. Wortham.
You are an artist that worked on Outpost Zero. I don't even know what that was. So
10 out of 10, right, Eric?
Before I get to that, is Carl Witzman in here?
Carl, are you still with us?
Because he will appreciate this for some reason.
Oh, dear.
This is the writer's name.
Uh-oh.
Porn Sack.
No.
What?
Whoop. Porn Sack.
Porn Sack? Oh, dear. But his friends just call him
Porn.
Yeah.
Or his close friends just call him Sack.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is a novelist. He's worked for DC. He did some editing work, I believe, for was it the Vertigo titles. What the Golden Age of Vertigo, or the Crappy Age of Vertigo? I don't know which ones. I didn't look that far into it, but the story's not bad. It's just not for me, really, and it just everything's got to be racist. You could put that in as an undertone. It doesn't have to overpower your entire story, especially when you're just basically using stereotypes for everybody. The Irish cop, the Asians are addicted to opium, and all white people hate everybody. So just put some undertones in there. Don't go heavy throughout every page on the book, which I understand is supposed to be a time in American history when, 1936. And he does describe this. I'll say this is pretty good here. So in 1882, the U.S. passed a ban on Chinese immigrants, blaming them for the 1874 Depression. In 1924, the Johnson-Reed Act expanded the ban to include Asians and Arabs. In 1936, over half a century after the original ban, the Chinese was America's first generation to come to age under an immigration ban. I don't even know if that makes sense. Should be a comma somewhere. Brian, you should edit it. But he puts that in there very nicely to describe, the history of the Chinese in America since the late 1800s. But the book, it just wasn't for me. I hate to say that. And the art is decent. The art I like. It's kind of what I expected. And the storytelling is good for the most part, except you need to put some angles in there. Get rid of that weird stuff you don't want to see. And like I said, it should be. The guy's a novelist, first and foremost. Probably should stick with that, I would say. But like I said, if you're a novelist, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that since I said it the first time. This guy definitely, he just doesn't. I don't know. I don't think the story's just not made for a comic book, in my opinion. But someone might like it. For me, it's a 4 out of 10. Slightly better than Skeleton Horses.
Soon to be -12.
I'll stick with a 4. I'll probably I'll read it again or once or twice more. But I wasn't disappointed buying it. It's a $3.99 book. It's pretty thick. It's more than 20 pages, I'm pretty sure. If you like noir, and it might be up your alley. I do, but this one was just kind of too slow paced, too boring for me. So I just wasn't for me.
So you're not picking up the next issue, right? Oh,
that's a big pooper's thumb down right there.
The thumb comes out. Oh no!
Hopefully,
sounds like
the other one's better.
It sounds like the art really left you cold. And when somebody goes stylistic like that, that is a risk that they run.
Mm-hmm.
It can really turn you off, or it can be like, and I'll probably get smacked for saying this, but when the New Mutants was taken over by Bill, I never know how to say his last name.
Sienkiewicz.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I did not like the style. I did not like the stylistic approach that he had, although everybody
loved it, and he is what made me quit getting Spider-Man books. Because right after the Craven's Last Hunt, he took over some of the books. I'm like, this sucks. Who picked this guy up? I appreciate his art a little more, but man, back then, this sucks. And then McFarlane came out, and I missed all that.
Yeah, but he matured into a style that I like a lot better. It's just that he was very stylistic, and I can appreciate it now in hindsight, but at the time, not so much. I'm sorry, Brian.
No, I was just gonna say, stylized. You're absolutely right. Stylized art, like Tim Sale, right, is one of the most stylized artists out there, and he's my favorite artist for Batman. I just think it fits the tone of Gotham City, of Batman, of everything. And of course, he drew The Long Halloween, and I'm like, I'm forcing Robin to read comics because I can, and so I had to read Batman Year One, and The Long Halloween acts as a sequel to Batman Year One. So I was like, here.
Wait, you like him as a Batman artist more than Mike Mignola?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike Mignola should not draw Batman unless it's by Gaslight, and then that's okay.
Gotham by Gaslight? You didn't like that?
No, I said unless it's Gotham by Gaslight. Then I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the best ever.
No. But yeah, I gave The Long Halloween to Robin, and she immediately opened it up. She was like, "This art's stupid," and I was like, a piece of me died that day. I was like, oh, how dare you?
She's going
But
in for
I do-
reprogramming next week.
I do try
yes.
to give them credit when they do a stylized. They're taking a
Oh,
chance.
yeah.
It's like an experimental comic comedian doing
I
something.
love the
that's not been
cover. I
done
probably
before.
might have liked it better
So-
if all the art was like that, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
Yeah.
It was just too in your face, stereotypical about everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not the real world, but okay, if you think it is, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, which could lead to a conversation about politics and comics and why we don't like it. So, anyway, we've got more comments here. Dead Davies Artistry, Hawkins for the win, Magnum humor. And thank you, Cindy Kep. I appreciate it. Historical Fencing Guild says, I went, Higgins was mad about Vampire Magnum turning Zeus and Apollo. Oh, there we go. And Anthony Mack, good to see you. Where is the dungeon guy? He is following you. He's right there. Anthony Mack, this isn't one of my shows.
I'm reading a couple different ones.
Yeah. But anyway, Cindy Kep's Eep, so not a favorable book. Well, it sounds like if you like gory art and totally inappropriate stereotypes, it's
Well, there's only that one gory part, and you really can't see what it is, so it's not too gory until you figure out it's a face covered in maggots with a swollen tongue.
yeah, there we go. And Anthony Mack says you should be on every show where it's just a camera pointing at your whiteboard. That will be our new cooking show that we're coming up with. So, and Historical Fencing Guild says I just randomly interrupt and enjoy. Everybody needs a hobby. And Pumpkin Face Detective Noir, Predator Vision Pumpkin Face Noir Detective. Oh, he's on a roll. And man, that is not how to make fried rice. And Carlene is pointing at Carl, so he can't hide. And wonders
That's
if it's
Carl's pen name, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, porn sack. Surprised I didn't get blamed for that. And is it safe to look back now and unmute? Yes, Carl, it is. And Cindy, yeah, I know, right? We're getting slandered here on this show, I'm telling you. And Eric's busting BKMs and ECAPs like Shepherd Book. Yeah, so and just wait till we get to my reviews, talk about shilling for the big two. Anyway, but no.
Some novelists can't make the leap to, or I guess maybe it's a step down to comic book writing. I don't know. Let's put it even level. It's not writing a novel. It is different.
It is.
And Brian will agree with me there. I mean, I know that. But this guy shouldn't have made the leap. He just stayed over there. Because I think, as a novel, it's probably really good.
Yeah, some people can do both, and some people just can't.
Yeah. There's been great novelists throughout the history of comics, even back in the 40s, like
Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman, perfect example.
Yes.
Harlan Ellison, Alfred Bester,
Yeah.
who wrote the original Alan Scott Green Lantern for a couple of years and was the creator of the In Brightest Day and Blackest Night pledge that we know now. Robert Kanigher's written novels, Jerry Conway's written novels, Roy Thomas.
Denny O'Neil.
Denny O'Neil, Denny O'Neil's very prolific in novel writing. George Alec Effinger did some work for Marvel in the early 70s, like Thongor in Creatures on the Loose, and he was quite good at it too. So, but I will say that writing comics is far harder than writing novels, because in novels you've got all the room in the world.
Really? It's harder?
It is harder, yeah.
I think
really
it depends
is.
on the person, because I think not writing a novel's harder.
Yeah, that's why I haven't done it yet.
I
tried, and I was like, "This isn't for me. I need to draw things."
We drawing pictures.
It just takes longer, is all. You really got to have some stick-to-itiveness, but no, the actual structure of it, I find comic books much more daunting than writing a novel, because a novel, if I want, especially if I'm publishing myself, if I want to take 400 pages, I can do it. If I want to take 20 pages, I can do it. Whereas in comics, I have the page, which can only accommodate X number of actions, X number of words per panel, etc. It's not formulaic, but there's a structure to it that you have to adhere to make it work properly. And if you're lucky to have a great artist like Eric here to work with, and I'm not just saying it because he's here. I am. Anyway, but after busting my chops earlier, but no, if you have an artist that you know knows how to tell a good story. I had that coming. The shift in the art of New Mutants was not likable. And for me, the year of Sienkiewicz worked because it was so wrong for the book. But that's just me being a contrary.
The other problem with him is his freaking last name. Come on, change that crap.
Yeah, really. Yeah, change it to something like Porn Sack or something. Something you can pronounce.
Something prestigious.
That's the guy's first name is Porn Sack. It's not his last name.
There's no way that's his real first name.
His last name's Pishit Shot.
What was
Pishit
that?
Shot? I don't know.
Maybe it is his real name. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it, though. I hope not.
Porn Sack.
I hope not.
Porn Sack, yeah.
His poor substitute teachers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Porn Sack? Hey, Ron?
Yeah.
Porn Sack,
Porn
are you
Sack.
here today?
Porn Sack. Which one use Porn Sack here?
Hey, Ron, I know you're here.
Oh, yes.
McQuellen. Anyway, in Blasphemy, Rodman says to Davies.
Hey, look. Mike Mignola is a genius. He's my favorite comic creator. I don't really care for the way he draws Batman outside of Gotham by Gaslight. I'm comparatively, at least compared now, I do love that. But see, look, I don't know. Pull it back. It's just not Batman to me. I don't know. I would get it
because posture could be better.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love that statue because it's just super cool because it's very stylized. But in a comic, I would prefer someone like Tim Sale. Jim Lee's just too polished for me. It's almost just too comic book standard good. I really love stylized stuff. I think that's why I love Batman the Animated Series so much because it's just different enough, and I love it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but that statue, not to diss the great Mike Mignola, but that statue with that posture there, I remember seeing it in the pack the first time, and I'm thinking that would be when who is it? Oh crap! I just lost his name. The scruffy police lieutenant in the Gotham universe, Harvey Bullock.
Oh, Harvey Bullock. Yeah,
that's when Harvey Bullock becomes the Bat. That's what I'm waiting for. And Ted Davies Artistries goes, I love arthritic Batman.
That's definitely an older Batman. I mean, he's got to be in his 70s, I guess.
Oh, I would say 90s. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there. He was an adult when he picked up Action 27.
Got some scoliosis going in his back.
Yeah,
it's a sad day.
It is, and if you take the same medicine Batman does, he could afford rich guy's medicine. He could get his spine fixed like that. Cindy Kepico says, "Yeah, comic script writing is tougher because you have to write really tight. I want to describe the thing into complex dialogue. So
yes,
yeah. And you know what, Eric, with us, we could just draw it.
And that's and Brian's never seen any of my scripts. My script is, I basically it's a real blue script. I write what I want it to be, then I put in the dialogue because I know up here what everything's going to be. So
right. Yeah. Makes sense. The Historical Fencing Guild, that is just belly dance Batman.
Why don't you make him do a little dance there for us, Eric?
Yeah.
Me or him?
Well, hey, if you want to do it, man, you do.
Yeah.
You, boo-boo. All right.
Set yourself free, young man.
I love the music choice right now.
I do too. I thought it was going to be like da da da.
Go to Kickstarter and back to some for all of us right now.
Hashtag always promote.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know where you guys picked that up from.
Excuse me a moment.
Uh-oh. He's your
Bye, Eric.
Yeah. He's like,
oh, get the poll.
I'm having Amy Hale flashbacks. Anyway.
No. Since I mentioned it, this is the cover for Heroes Reborn.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It looked more interesting to me. I should have probably read it. But I just wanted to find one image real quick in here and show it to people.
While you're doing that,
Dr. Juggernaut.
Whoa.
How nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
see, I should have read
pretty
this
cool.
one.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, oh, gee, another toy.
No, all the toys are way over there.
No, I'm thinking for Marvel, another toy that they can make. It's another.
I did get
yeah.
my Bo-Katan in the mail this week.
Oh,
From
there we
the
go.
Mandalorian.
Nice.
Clyde.
Another Funko Pop.
There we
We
go.
Funko
We need
Pops
a
lately.
Funko Pop. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dr. Juggernaut Funko Pops. Yeah.
There we go. That's that
11-inch one
Batman's.
too.
You see this Clyde salivating just now.
I know, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh my God, don't let Cookie find out I'm ordering it. But and don't feel bad about loose scripts. And JS says Batman with inappropriate thrusting action.
Indeed.
Available now from Rising Tide Industries.
Well, that would have been All-Star Batman, right?
Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he was crazy enough. My gosh.
Yeah. Except in that one, I feel like as the person who bought every issue, even though he didn't like it, I was the recipient of the thrusting.
You didn't buy every issue because every issue never came out.
Yeah, that's the only thing that saved me. So,
Well, hey man, don't worry. I'm right along there with you. I have every issue, and then I have that very much lack of ending that I don't really care about. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah, it's like no end. The book didn't never end. Thank you. Anyway, so
Like Kevin Smith wrote it or something.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
shots fired.
Whoa.
Hey, don't talk about my doppelganger that way.
That's right. Look, there were the rails over there, says Carl Witz.
No, we're still talking about comic books.
That's true. We're there.
We are.
We're there. And the Historical Fencing Guild, page 7, Paul Bunyan yeets the Wendigo to the moon. He's working on a comic of that type. So anyway, guys, should Clyde go next, or should we prolong the agony for Mr.
No,
Rodman?
Brian should go next. Yeah,
Okay,
because we always bring in the closer.
Yeah,
that's true. He is the man.
the closer, Clyde.
That's right. Okay, so Clyde, if you don't mind, I will take the next shift. All right. So anyway, speaking about being a shill for the big companies, we're gonna do that next week. Anyway, I have one here that I'm actually excited to do. And full disclosure, this may be our first, maybe one of our first crowdfunded comics on here. And it's going to be one that you have heard the name of, and I cannot hold up the comic. I do not own a physical copy, though I know it is available, all right, from BrianRodman.com. Memoirs of an Angel.
Okay.
What?
Who did that? Whose book?
Brian Rodman's.
Oh, Brian's. Oh.
Yeah,
There better be some good lettering in this book.
Well, it's a shame we're not reviewing the DC comics this week, because look what the Kubert School is all about this week. Lettering.
There it is.
Yeah.
Buy this Superman so you'll learn about lettering, people. But anyway,
Is that a Manola cover?
this one?
No.
No.
Wow, Brian, how'd you get him to do that?
I know.
My body is for sale.
And for what he can get for it, that's why I'm drawing the covers from now on. Anyway, he can afford me. But no, this is by my dear friend Brian Rodman, who I told him I would review this on the air. And you know how I've been waxing eloquently about it. No, seriously, this is a terrific book. This really is. Brian has put his heart and soul into it. I love his art. And reading now I have all 8 issues. He has a 0 issue, as all good comics should, I suppose. But this layout here really reminds me a lot of P. Craig Russell. It is very well designed. And Brian's going, "Damn you! It's Mike Mignola, you insensitive jerk."
Yeah, I would have said Kirby.
Yeah, but no, it is about Earth in the fairly immediate future, having gone through a nuclear war. Think of it, the landscape is kind of like Judge Dredd, with the people banding together in different cities. Except in this case, North America, South America are pretty much a radioactive wasteland. And there is kind of like this area called the Gray, where kind of the undesirables go. And we have some very cosmic, well-designed entities who basically are seeing like disturbances in the force, if you will. Meanwhile, there is an exorcism that needs to be done on the earthly plane, and I'm really finding this world interesting. For me, the series really started taking off around issue 3, when we have been getting an overview of the world itself, which is very well put together. And knowing Brian had taken a lot of his cues from the Bible itself, I find that intriguing. That's the sort of thing that really works for me. But what it really worked for me in issue 3 is where the emphasis goes from cosmic down to ground level, more relatable, and I really like that. But one thing I've got to really hit on is Brian's a really damn good artist. He really is. And a really underrated colorist, too. I don't know if it's coming across on the screen there, but these panels here, a lot of these characters are like kind of like more like earth tones, darker tones. And then you get these splashes of color that automatically draw your eye. And yes, the lettering is wonderful, Brian.
Thank you. Thank Blambot for that.
Yeah, really. Thank you, Blambot. But yeah, and it is just I see all kinds of relationships being set up. As I like the idea of the exorcism is there's this he's 10 years old, I believe, and he's showing signs of demonic possession, but at this time in history, they don't do the kind of the power of Christ compels you sort of exorcisms. They've got a pill for that. They've got treatment for it. And this woman is kind of seeing if she could do it the old-fashioned way, because she's not sure that things are as they seem. And which, of course, we've got the chief priest there, who is also not as he seems. There is just a whole lot of great threads being put together that I'm really enjoying here. And I'm not saying that just because Brian's my dear friend. The setting shifts quite frequently, keeps me on my toes as a reader. The dialogue is really good. Well, it's not exactly like a Don McGregor who will go on for page after page or page, or me. Full disclosure. Notice Eric was the first to laugh. Anyway, but Brian is delightfully, and I do say this as a compliment, very sparse with his dialogue. It is very effective, though, non-cliched, really strong writing. I really think. And the art is beautiful. The coloring, everything works together. This is a case like with Eric Hawkins, where it's a one-man show, but they do all the parts well. And I think that, honestly, I'm in for the long haul. Okay, so Brian's got at least one pledge from now on when he goes to Kickstarter. The covers are beautiful. There's just a lot to unpack here, but it's also skillfully done. I'm very proud of my dear friend. He is producing a wonderful book here that I think especially is going to read well as a trade paperback, because you'll be able to see all the threads coming together without having to wait. And I suspect there's going to be a really cool payoff near the end of this story arc. And I promise I'll be there for it. I really definitely recommend Memoirs of an Angel, available at brianrodman.com. Issues 0 through 8 are available electronically. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian.
0 through 7.
0 through 7. See, he'd do 8, but he's doing this damn show on Thursday nights. It's taking up all of his
You
time.
already gave Brian issue 8? Oh, man.
I know. Yeah. But
well, I need my commas, man.
Exactly. Yeah. We use them sparingly. But anyway, no, seriously, it's a beautiful work of art. And I'm seeing also is a lot of potential in this. And so I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I definitely recommend you get it. I'm going from memory here, so we're really running on thin ice here. 0 Is Zero available as a physical form?
It is. We have physical copies. If you are watching this, and you can go on the site, you can get it as a PDF. If you want the physical copy, and it's not there, I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment if it's in the store or not. Just DM me on Facebook, and I'll make sure you get it. Yeah.
There we go. But definitely a 10 out of 10. I'm loving it, Brian. Seriously.
Was there
Good work.
flaming
Thanks,
skeletons, horse skeletons?
Not yet, but I'm putting them in there for you,
Yeah.
just for you, buddy.
Yeah, and especially Brian. That was a good point. Brian has been printing some of his work on his Patreon page, and there are some really beautiful panoramic shots in the latest issue. Which
Not just that,
yes.
but he also, Brian Rodman, put out some black and white sketches of characters this week.
Yeah.
Now, it's one thing to make a tableau and a nice big, like a splash, and that's been wonderful too. But I really, really enjoyed seeing those figures, simple black and white. They reminded me in the best possible way of like Jeff D. art for the old TSR books.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They were just, and to put that into perspective, I used to photocopy those and change into superheroes and things because I love the form so much. That's what your work on those black and white characters was like this week for me. So I was so impressed. It's one thing to make big panels and things, but to do those individual characters and to give them such flair, and you got, I mean, they were, I think, mostly bad guys, and you got that vibe of villainy just from their positions and the looks that you gave them. I was impressed. So
thank you, Clyde. Thank you, Brian.
Look at that lettering.
That lettering is hot. I'm telling you,
I better not slip up anymore because you guys are just being able to roast the crap out of me, and rightfully so. Now, Brian, thank you. Really, I really appreciate that, and I
mean it too.
I don't
stuff.
deserve 10 out of 10 in my opinion, but
it's a 2.
That's better. Thank you. Yes, I do want one.
Oh no, he tossed it. Oh crap! That's an iPad.
Yes,
not now. It isn't.
My book got tossed on Comic Book Spectrum. Yes, I have arrived.
No, seriously, it's a beautiful work. Lots of potential, a lot of detail, a lot of really detailed stuff, while at the same time doing the minimalist approach of like a Mike Mignola or an Alex Toth. It just really works. Your color choices are amazing. Like I said, I'd read the, like, what was it, 0 through 2 earlier. And I should have known, Brian, that the part I really like would happen in issue 3, of course. But anyway, but no.
What about issue 3? Did you like so much?
I like the fact that we started looking at human beings again.
Okay, cool.
And a lot of it before then was the cosmic setup, which is necessary, and an explanation of what's going on in the world as it is then. Again, necessary. But for me, I guess I could take kind of a micro view, which is one of the reasons I like Marvels so much by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross, in that, yes, this book is about Galactus. We talk about Galactus about to eat the world, and the Fantastic Four are about to confront him, but what about some guy crossing the street that just happens to look up? That is the stuff that I guess it's my Will Eisner. Will Eisner used to do stories like that, where he, instead of making it macro, he made it very micro and very relatable. Again, I like the fact that you brought in your faith into this. I could tell the research had been done. But with issue 3, it started looking more earthbound. Now that we've established the whole world, now we're starting to get down to individuals, more people I think I could relate to.
Cool. That's great. That's exactly what what I wanted. So I'm so happy.
Self high fives yourself, brother. Yeah. I'm telling you, you've done good. So yeah. So that's my review of Memoirs of an Angel. Seriously good stuff. Check it out at brianrodman.com. The 7th issue, the physical one, just recently backed on Kickstarter, I believe, will be in Brian's hands, I believe, within the week or two, right?
Yes. Issue 7 is we approved on the proofs, and we should get the physical copies next week.
Cool.
And then in the next couple weeks, we'll be shipping them out to all of our wonderful backers. And once we do that,
I'm waiting to read it. I got the digital. I'm waiting.
You're like me. I do the same thing. If I got the physical on a Kickstarter, I'm like, I just want to hold it. But
I told Brian when we see each other at an Imaginarium in Louisville later this year.
You just want to hold it?
I just want to hold it.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be there.
I also want him to bring some comics too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying we're gonna hold each other as if we were on our honeymoon. It's gonna happen.
We'll have a honeymoon.
I don't think Robin's gonna like that.
It should be fine. Her and Cookie can go hang out. It'll be fine.
Yeah, they're going to ignore us.
They'll go over there and throw up, and we'll just be over there. It'll be good.
Are those two still hugging? Oh God!
Oh, gosh, just get a room, guys. Yeah. What are you doing?
We've got plenty of room. Again? Do that noise again.
Yeah. I'm going to make that noise when I hug you, Brian. It's going to happen.
Releasing air.
Make it too.
That's just because I'm full of hot air. That's all.
That's the sound Batman makes when he belly dances.
Let's make this happen. Eric, close up on the Batman real quick.
Do this.
I have asthma. I can't do it very long.
I'm sorry. That was just you breathing.
Be sure to check out the nebulizer coming soon to Kickstarter.
Hashtag it ain't easy being wheezy.
Hashtag always promote. And Cookie just popped in here and went, shh. So
that's fun. Stop it.
Yeah, to which I go, okay. Yeah, she's out of the room. Yeah, she doesn't watch this show.
And that's when she killed him, Your Honor.
Yeah. It's a justified kill, Your Honor. Yep, gotta let it
Clyde, you're up.
You're up, Clyde. Save us, right. Save us.
Well, I'm going to take a page out of Brian Rodman's book. He told us about going to his comic book shop. I got to visit in person a comic book shop this week. First time. It's a new comic book shop, so I'd never been in it before, although they had been very kind to curb service me during the pandemic. But we've talked about some of the books I have as reader copies, which I'm mainly interested in, and their dollar bin. This is what happens to me. I stumble across things. Their dollar bin had some wonderful vintage books, and I just wanted to share my joy at finding these for $1 each. Some of them, they are reader copies, but they're really good shape too for their age. Some very eclectic things. And they had quite a bit of ACG. And so that Brian Morris will have Herbie Envy. He mentioned Herbie Popnecker, and otherwise known as the Fat Fury. And I had only read reprints. These are originals. So 12-cent original issues of Herbie Popnecker books. So, and it's better than I imagined. So Brian, you were dead on accurate for the comedic value of those. But on to this week. Well, the comic book store in question is Colossus Comics and Games in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Be sure to support your local comic book shop. And this week, start off with a little bit of artwork. I wanted to hold up TKO. They are TKO Studios. Right before the pandemic, they began with a new Netflix kind of release system. They put out an entire 6-issue run at a time, and you can get it in multiple formats. But they issue it all at once, and then they don't do anything for months. So, did this come out in the last month, Red Fork? No. However, it's wave 3 of their TPBs, and they're getting ready to put out wave 4. So it kind of had to sidestep our normal inclusion for month-long, but it's available, multiple formats, online or floppies. You can get it as a trade paperback or individual issues to see if you like it, but This is the comic we'll be reviewing this week. It is a great horror story. To give you a look at what kind of a horror story, it's the sort that it's a very much on the ground sort of thing. Of in this case, you're in a mine and they're doing machine work, and somebody goes, "Hey, is this black stuff supposed to be there?" That is kind of the whole storyline of this trade paperback in a nutshell. They go for the jugular. It is not necessarily a buildup of suspense as much as it is a sudden delve into horror. And it's a very relatable storyline too. So it is called Red Fork. TKO Studios. To get the trade paperback, all 6 issues, it's $19.99. Written by Alex Packnadel. Art is by Neil Vendrell. The colorist is Julia Brusco. Letters by Ryan Ferrier. Maturity level, it is definitely for adults. It's a mature comic. TKO Studios does this Netflix-style releases. So like I said, it is available now. It has been out for a while, but they don't do the weekly thing, so or monthly release. So in this case, sometimes a creative team will sell a book. Writer Alex Packnadel got my attention early on with Friendo from Vault Comics back in 2018. His story of near-future marketing dystopia resonated almost like a time travel peak 15 minutes from now. Artist Neil Vendrell, he illustrated 2017's Image title, Shirtless Bear Fighter. And that's not a series that I have followed, but the title alone, again, it's got my full attention when I see something like that. So other times, solicits grab onto you and they won't let you go. Well, with these things in mind, Red Fork from TKO Studios is a horror comic twofer. It's got strong creatives and the tale about a coal mining community built upon the industry. It landed me. My father mined coal as a child in the days when work was done by hand and the coal was hauled out by mule teams. Before the United Mine Workers, when a miner's death resulted in an eviction notice to his family requesting they clear out of the company house, but also a final bill from the company store requiring payment in full before departure. Stories that my father told like that, of the working conditions which led him to be part of the UMW unionizing efforts, are very much horror stories already. As is inherently, for me, any kind of tale of close confines, miles underground, and sketchily hollowed out tunnels. Red Fork follows native son Noah McGlade, returning to his coal mining hometown in 2012 after serving a 6-year prison term for a break-in and a beating that he and his brother committed as teens. The town of Red Fork, West Virginia was no garden spot back then, but now on his return, it's a coal mining, with its coal mining prospects declining even further, it's become a cesspool of opiate addiction and bankrupt businesses. Noah's arrival coincides with pickets and protests after local employees suffer yet another round of layoffs by the only game in town for business, Amcor Mining Group. Desperate for a paycheck, workers skilled and unskilled cross picket lines as scab labor, and that further intensifies the local tensions. Noah's brother Cody is one of the workers drawn across those lines to provide for not only his family, but also for the girlfriend and daughter Noah has left behind, a daughter he's never met. That's when disaster strikes at the Red Fork mines. And there's also an explosion. When Cody and another miner miraculously escape the collapsed mine, it's only the first of many portents. Paranormal healings begin among the townfolk of Red Fork. People debilitated or on their deathbeds from black lung and cancer are suddenly given new life leases. Wonders which Jane Paisley, the modern owner of Amcor Mining, has kept as family secrets for over a century. Long-buried evils, aloft on winds, laden with despair and tragedy, surge from beneath the mountains surrounding Red Fork, while Noah tries to protect his estranged family. They've got no regard for him. They consider him an embarrassment, yet he and Jane, who is a descendant of the first Red Fork miners, may be their only chance to survive. Packnadel, again, turns in a script which frightens because it is, in its mundane and human way, completely relatable. People act like the fallible, flawed, pridefully misguided creatures we know from real life. We've met those enemies, and they're us. And like us, they can also rise above those failings. Sometimes they can put aside differences and old hatreds in ways we've seen in real life also, but not as often. Family ties bind and reinforce despite monstrous obstacles. Those standing in opposition to smiling harbingers promising a better life through the workings of their infernal, slumbering gods become our unlikely heroes. Even Amcor Mining's Ms. Paisley has basically some altruistic aims where Red Fork's people are concerned. And that is a true Packnatal hallmark. Characters are never simple creatures, just to further the plot. They are complex entities changing and growing through their experiences and what becomes important to them as the story unfolds. Vendrill's unblinking eye, his unblinking eye for realism, reveals the tumorous, sucking chest wounds in Packnatal storytelling. One of the reasons this is a very adult read. It reveals them and it also revels in them as boldly as that roadkill possum gracing the first issue's cover. His depictions of the transforming townfolk is a study in visual horror. The rendering lumps and bruises from a barroom brawl look wincingly accurate, and together those things give Vendrill's depiction of shed flesh and innards a queasiness that is otherwise not achievable. Left to less talented imaginations, Red Fork would be reduced to a promising but haunting story of tentacled, shadow-hugging lurkers. With Packnatal and Vendrill, its nightmare concentrate and is fused into every panel. Those inks and colors by Julia Brusco are also fused with the realism of the piece. People living harsh lives of labor alongside their families, all subjected to industrialized settings, they've got an unwell pallor in Red Fork. Smokestacks billow, coal dust and ash settle, and everything owns a worn-out, jaundiced aspect that Brusco applies for all it's worth. Lettering by Ryan Ferrier also deserves some praise. He juggles ample dialogue and the art adeptly. One never intrudes on the other. Each balloon is balanced perfectly. It's mastery which can go unnoticed, but not his sounds. When sound effect fonts are needed, Ferrier, he has passions that become unbridled. Whether it's the soft buzzing of a cell, whether it's the metallic rasp of brakes applied too hard, or the squelching, strangled scream of a man with no jaw, Ferrier knows the right font approach, and his sound effects add their own unique layer to the horror. This is definitely horror for adults, with not only mature themes, but also some very over-the-top visual elements. Some readers may find that gore excessive, so if you prefer your horror more subtle, Red Fork may not be your ideal. There's also a few gaps in narrative detail, how some people become mindless monsters while others are much more mindful ones, aware of their personal histories and their biases. Personally, it seems Packnatal intentionally chooses what might seem gaps in the reasoning because, like many sweat-inducing nightmares, not everything makes wakeful, complete sense. Persons who believe they've experienced paranormal phenomena may also find that their perceptions of such things are not purely logical. I think that it calls back to that. Red Fork is a horror story which intentionally goes for the jugular more than it builds suspense. It's an approach tailored for the supernatural plight of working-class people, ordinary folk who just want to provide for their families, have a degree of job security, and in exchange for their labor. Work which may cost them their health or their lives, yet which gets downplayed and downsized by management. Red Fork does a devilish turn showing practical people, too often cheated of dangled benefits, suddenly faced with promises too good to be true, yet too tempting to be refused. It deals in a horror born of the desperate people suddenly offered hope with meaty, blood-soaked strings attached, and people being too demoralized to pass it by. My score on the 6-issue series, Red Fork, is 9 out of 10.
Wow. That does sound good.
Jeez, man.
Very,
You
very
make everything sound amazing.
You do.
Well, I try to pick things that amaze me. And Alex Packnatal, if you haven't read Friendo, I urge you, go back and look. It's marketing gone mad. And I met him, talked to him a little bit, and I said, how did you come up with such a realistic, I mean, this is like the worst case scenario for people staging accidents for hits on the internet, things like that, like, how did you come up with that? And he goes, I worked in marketing. And he brings that kind of focus to everything I've seen him do. This is kind of I hadn't seen a pure horror story. Friendo is kind of a horrific future dystopia story, but this I just couldn't get over how his focus was like Brian was talking about. It's with the people on and under the ground. There's a big evil in it, but it's really seen from their point of view. It could have been a Cthulian sort of story, but it's much more personal than that, I think, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, Clyde. I'm going to TKO's website.
I tried to pick amazing books too, but I ended up with crap like this. And Carl's right. We won't be laughing when Clyde starts his own show.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I'm just waiting for the spinoff series to Comic Book Spectrum. There we go.
No, or when he abandons us, like McCartney leaving the Beatles sort of thing. So, by the way, I do want to point out something. If you have Hoopla.com.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which which ties to your library card, and it is a good thing for your library too. But if you enjoy what you read on there, go pick up a physical copy at your local comic book shop. Okay, but anyway, Mr. Higgins Comes Home from Dark Horse Comics is available on Hoopla.com. All right, so thank you, Clyde.
Yes.
That was amazing as always. Makes me want to read that thing. Seriously.
I'm not kidding, actually. I have TKO Studios pulled up.
So I'm the shill for DC. Eric is the shill for Image and Dark Horse, and Clyde just makes everything magical. Historical Fencing Guild says, I interfere less on screens, muted with a whiteboard. And Cindy goes, woohoo! Cindy, let's have an update on your campaign, please. Yes. And all jest aside, the Historical Fencing Guild, Fridays at 8 p.m. on YouTube, says, I dig the almost stained glass muted colors of that page, delightfully surreal, referring to Brian Rodman.
She is at $168 and 15 backers.
Woohoo! Excellent, Cindy. That's a super start. Well done. And we'll see if we can keep it going. Ted Davies Artistry says, I am among masters. You Fab Four inspire me. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Ted Davies Artistry. Also, don't forget Drinking with the Davies tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Always a fun time. And the Historical Fencing Guild goes, preach BKM. The street level individual stories are always the most compelling. Anthony Mack says, the name of the only person who can save us now. And Historical Fencing Guild, hugging is acceptable, but is 60s porn music necessary?
I mean, it's always necessary.
I just reviewed a book by Porn Sack. Come on.
Hey, look, when you hug someone, you either hug them and you make that noise that I made, or you just whisper gently in their ear, Brokeback Mountain, and everything gets wonderful in the room.
What about?
I can't quit you, Brian. I can't quit.
What about the chicka bum bum? Is that out of vogue?
Or just hold them close. My mind's telling me no. Yeah,
I'm already practicing my Barry White songs. It's going to be glorious. And Carl Witzman says with relief, finally time for Clyde.
Yeah.
And Eric Hawkins is finally someone with integrity. And Clyde Hall, please looking old gods of Appalachia for an audio series if this is your gig.
Okay.
And Lissy, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. I will have to check out the book y'all talked about. Brian's comics sound awesome, and Red Fork is sounding great too. That's one of the purposes of this show, is to share books that we're excited about, that we think are worthy of your attention, and maybe warn you away from a couple of them. So, and finally, someone who can spell someone correctly, says Brian Rodman. And Eric Hawkins speaks for us all. I need Clyde to start picking out my books for me. And Brian Rodman says, I just need Clyde to read books to me. I think Clyde's missing out on a gig here. And Rising Tide Publications, who knows their stuff, says Clyde is the gold standard of comic book reviewers. The rest of us are mere hacks, which can I get an amen?
Amen.
Hacks. We talked about that. Hacks, that's a good thing.
Hacks is a good thing.
Hacks is a good thing.
Yes,
I should be more hacky.
I'm proud to be a hack because we're the guys who get things done. And
right.
And Brian Rodman says, Clyde reviews are who I want to be when I grow up. Eric Hawkins says, every woman wants to be with Clyde's reviews and every man wants to be them. Carl mocks us with his laughter. And Brian Rodman says,
oh, Carl, I forgot, Carl. I was going to put in a Jungian parallel to the book just to make you happy, and I forgot that. So I'm sorry.
We'll put in 2 next week. And I'm getting poor because of Clyde's reviews. Send money. Clyde is the calculated master when it comes to reviews. Yep. Amazing. He's like the Zen master. And I'm like Jackie Chan, the drunken master here. Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to get somebody. We're gonna have to draft somebody out of the audience. Carl, what are you doing? Anyway, and thank you for Historical Fencing Guild, and I like their style to it. Thank you, the Ninja, and 168 15 backers, and check out Animal Eye right now. That is a super all ages comic book. Like I said, I read it, and if you were one of Cindy Kep's Patreon subscribers, you would have read it too. She has a Patreon account. Look up ckoepp.com. For a great newsletter from this lady too. And I'm going to hold back and oh yeah, you better. Anyway, Brian Rodman offering some Marvin Gaye sexual healing. Oh yeah. And saxophone wham music. There we go. And Clyde's audiobook reading series and porn hack comic reviews. There we go. Yeah, maybe next time, Carl, or maybe not. Anyway, what I want to take a moment here, and I want to wish somebody someone who is in the industry, in the independent comics industry, one of the editors of Memoirs of an Angel, Robin Rodman. Which is that a comic book name or what? Robin Rodman,
right? She's like the reporter. That's like that. I've always thought that because it was so funny when we were just dating. Her and her sister were talking, and her sister was like, if you marry him, your name is going to be Robin Rodman, and I just always thought that sounded like a news anchor. And tonight on Channel 6 News, Robin Rodman with the news tonight. I don't know. That always made me. And poor woman, I gave her my last name.
That's okay, because when I married Cookie, her last name was Mills, and I said she married me so she wouldn't have to change her monogram towels or anything. It's strictly a marriage of convenience, mostly mine. But anyway, and happy birthday, Robin. Yes, we all agree. Happy birthday to Robin Rodman. And many happy returns from the day. And we hope he gets feeling better, too. And when Clyde outgrows you guys, what do you mean when he outgrows us?
We are a low bar here. Clyde has stepped down to be on the show.
He's slumming.
Yeah.
He is. He's the only class.
That's got it for me, guys. I'll see you later.
I was like, I'll be in my trailer, fella.
Yeah. Just have my champagne sent immediately. You know the temperature I like. Anyway, and happy bird day, Robin.
Yes.
Yes, and yep, says the Ninja Genko. Glad to see you here. So anyway, I'm thinking this is the time we should let Brian go back to his honey and make her day. And so what I want to say is
what did you say you were fixing her? Exactly?
Oh yes, we are. I'm about to go put on my chef's hat after this and fix. Our friend smoked a pork butt, which is just a fun sentence to say. And
he smoked a pork butt.
I know, right? No, but gave us the leftovers and what he's done that in the past. I take it and pop it in the oven and pour some nice barbecue sauce on it, and then I make barbecue grilled cheese sandwiches on a panini grill. Yeah, so that's what I'm about to go do. So
food porn.
Exactly. Food porn sack.
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna take that pork butt and put some sauce on.
Oh no!
Anyway, and Carl Winsman says almost made it back to the rails. Oh well. We can't even see the rails from where we're at. And Historical Fencing Guild says, by the way, Luke Stone's Hybrids #7, the quick play RPG, is at 1,541 backers. Congratulations to Luke. That is great. And you are trying butt stuff for her birthday. I think
pig butt stuff.
Pig
Get it
butt.
right. Yeah.
That's what they call it down there.
I don't know.
I think we broke Eric.
Well, I try to keep as clean as I can, so I'm doing my best here.
Eric's like censoring. I can't say words.
Not dog.
Exterminate.
And Ted Davies, have a great evening, Fab Four, and everyone enjoy your night. You too, Ted. Thank you so much for being here. And the Ninja, you should be laughing at us. And Carl Weston says, good show, mostly.
Mostly.
Until like the last 4 minutes. And City Cap, go Luke. Stoneyard, Nicholas Anthony, Talker, go. And here we go. Now it's getting personal. Dry rub or barbecue?
It was dry rubbed when it was smoked, and then I put sauce on when he gives it to me. Again, a fun sentence to say.
So it was rubbed, and now it's going to be sauced.
Hey guys, I'm only here to make you giggle like middle school boys.
Well, I'll be dry rubbing some ribs this weekend.
Ooh. I dry rub it, it starts to hurt after a while. And Cindy Kemp says, thanks for hosting the adventure. Fun. Thank you, Cindy. Continued good fortune on your Kickstarter campaign. Please check that out. And before this show goes any further into the pit than it is, I think it's time that we
Porn sack. It threw itself on the floor.
I know. The bucket throws itself. It's trying to commit suicide. Gosh. Anyway, let's go to the dignity. Always dignity. Clyde Hall, please, for the love of all that is sacred, please get us out of this morass. MORASS, and tell everybody how everyone can keep up with you.
Well, I am Clyde Hall, author, comic book fan and reviewer, award-winning audio dramatist, cosplayer, gamer, husband, father, rising tide broadcaster, a man of many parts. Shut up, Christian.
Hashtag porn sack.
Hashtag porn sack. You can follow me on Clyde Hall on Facebook, or at Radiating Positive Vibes with Author Clyde Hall. It's my site on Facebook. Also, Stormgate Press just came out with my second story of the original character, B-Man, in Pulp Reality #2. If you go to www.stormgatepress.com, you can see how to order that and see all of the other fine products from Stormgate Press.
Most excellent. Thank you, as always, Clyde Hall. You are terrific. And speaking of terrific, Eric Hawkins, tell everybody how they can keep up with you.
I'm Pornsack Hawkins, and you can find me on Twitter at ES_Hawkins. The Zombieful World of Oz on Kickstarter. We are 19 days left, I think I said. 19 days. We've unlocked 4 stretch goals, 116 backers, and we're over, we got $4,200. So sky's the limit.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Eric. And Pornsack. Thank you.
Now we're just
Captain Pornsack Hawkins. And now here he is on the verge of rubbing his butt. Here is Mr. Brian Rodman.
I'm Brian Rodman. Send help. No, I am the
hostage.
He makes me read comic books.
Blink twice if you're scared. I'm Brian Rodman, the writer and illustrator of comics like Memoirs of an Angel and soon to be the Nebulizer on Kickstarter on May the 28th. I'm also 1/3 of the Dastardly Dingoes podcast with Jeremy Woodring and Chad Nuss on YouTube. You can follow us there and get into all the shenanigans. For everything else, go to brianrodman.com. There's links to social media and whatnot, my Patreon, all that jazz, as well as an online store. Go knock yourself out. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Brian.
All right, Brian, thank you for being here. Thank you to all you guys for being here and for your great reviews and your hilarious comments. And thank you also to our wonderful audience who is aiding and abetting in the falderall here. And right on to Ninja Genko. Yeah, paninis. We like paninis. And here's the new book coming out from Nicholas Anthony Tockard, Hornsack the Destroyer. He is cool, fellow Stormgate Press. And yeah, we got it. And Brian Rodman has a duty to the booty, says the Historical Fencing Guild. And you too, man. Awesome. Thank you to Ninja Genko for being here. Thank you, everyone, for showing up tonight on this episode of on Comic Book Spectrum. I'm trying to recover myself, God help me. But anyway, thank you to the Rising Tide Broadcasting Network for powering this show. Please check out what we've got. We've got 7 days a week worth of great entertainment, great education. Remember, Amy Hale, Creative as Hale, is not on tonight. She broadcast earlier this week. Please check that episode out. And but we do have Stupid O'Clock at 9 p.m. And Stupid O'Clock will be back Saturday night at 11. Tomorrow night we've got Ted Davies and Chrissy Davies with Drinking with the Davies at 6. I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with Nevermind the Furthermore. Then at 7 p.m. tomorrow night after Drinking with the Davies will be Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles, followed by the Historical Fencing Guild with Nicholas Anthony Tockard, who we love. Anyway, please check out these shows. Please take a screen capture of this page and check us out. We've got good stuff coming up. Also, we want to thank our Patreon subscribers. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can keep tabs on your favorite creators and support them directly financially, and also get stuff for it. Like at least $1 will get you mentioned on the show. And thank you to our new subscriber, Pops Van Zandt. And thank you to everyone on this list here. They also have some Patreons of their own. But if you want to see what I can offer you for your monthly subscription, go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. By the way, people who are at the $10 level got a copy of Snow Shorts last week, my brand new book from Bobby Nash, Ben Books. It is a adventure of Abraham Snow. If you like action adventure, this is the book for you, and it's real good. Please check it out. I'm very proud of that. And as always, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all and your support very, very much. We'll be back 1 week from tonight with more comic book reviews and conversation here on Comic Book Spectrum. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to Plasma Fire Graphics for sponsoring this episode. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, and they do some great works as you're about to see. So everyone, as always, thank you. This is Brian K. Morris telling you to stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great evening, everyone.
From author Brian K. Morris comes a classic hero in a high-flying, fast-paced, and action-packed steampunk adventure. The original Skyman battles the Master of Steam with an introduction by comics icon and historian Roy Thomas. A Rising Tide, an Ace Comics publication. Available now in print or digital format on Amazon.com.
Thank you for watching Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Please join us next week for another look at comics, past, present, and future. If you enjoyed this, please give the show a like and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. To receive our free monthly newsletter, go to www.risingtide.pub and be sure to give the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook a like in order to receive news about upcoming shows including Clever Title Pending, Stupid O'Clock, Clever as Hail, Comics Chaos and Sass, Tidbits and Scribbles, the Historical Fencing Guild, and never mind the Furthermore. See you next week.